Did you know that limiting beliefs can actually physically limit you? We're going to talk about ways to overcome those limiting beliefs, but also strategies to recognize them before they take hold. Let's go get that nugget of inspiration. Welcome to Life Mastery for Women. I'm your host, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Join me here 3 times a week for empowering conversations, powerful tools, and techniques to help you experience more joy, healing, and deeper connections in your life. Get ready, ladies. It's time to get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Life is hard, but your personal growth doesn't have to be. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you overcoming, breaking through those mental blocks and releasing those limiting beliefs. If you're not breaking through those mental blocks, then it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So limiting beliefs, when I first heard this term, I wasn't quite sure what the heck the person was talking about. I was in some other personal development course. This was years and years ago. And that person, that coach, was selling the class on this other course about releasing or letting go of limiting beliefs and this whole exercise and how to do that. And he defined it as basically any words or sentences or thoughts that limit the possibilities. And I wasn't really sure what he meant. So I wasn't quite in the same frame of mind that I'm in now, because this is one of the biggest things that I talk about that I find to be so limiting is our words and our thoughts, because that's where everything starts. That's the point of creation, is our words and our thoughts, or our thoughts and then our words. So when he was describing it and he was saying, okay, your words, and I'm like, okay, but if I look out at my reality, that is my reality. Well, what he didn't do is go to part 2, which is, yes, but your reality is created by your thoughts. And when that came full circle, which was in 2013, because it was literally probably 10 years later. So in 2013, when that thought, that I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard of that before, limiting beliefs, I didn't really understand, and now I do, and but our thoughts create our reality. And I talk about that in every podcast. I talk about how the environment that you're living in is a reflection of your inner energy, of whatever is going on in your world, inside your body, inside your energy system, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotional state goes out into the world and creates the image of likeness, right? Of what is going on inside. So it is so imperative that we stop for a minute and we start to pay attention to what is going on around us. What is my environment saying about me? What's happening in my life that I want to change? And then I go, okay, so there's this thing over here that's annoying me or bugging me, or I've been dealing with this problem for years and I can't break it. Go inward and release it. So I want to talk about how the impact of limiting beliefs and how they have on your personal and professional growth. When you stand back and you look at your life and you go, okay, yeah, so here's my life. And I go, do you have any problems in your life? And you go, yeah, I do. I have a bunch. And I said, are there any problems in your life that you've been working on for a really, really long time? And the answer is always yes. I've never, other than maybe another coach who knows about this work, I've never had anybody say, well, no, I don't have any problems. Like, my problems go away quickly. Well, here's the thing. When we work through things backwards, we are slowing down our own personal growth. So that's why problems last forever, because we go out into the universe, we go out into our environment, and we try to manipulate and coerce our environment and blame our environment for our response, for our physical state, our emotional state, and we blame the environment. Well, it's the emotional state that created that environment in the first place. Your problems would solve a lot faster if you learn to manage your energy, manage your emotions, and manage your thinking. And we do that by waking up and living our life on purpose, with purpose, knowing where we're going and how we want to feel and what we want to experience, and then moving into this place of, it is up to me. If my life is going to change, if I'm going to change, if I'm going to overcome this problem, if I'm going to level up my life and live through the experiences that I want to live, then it's up to me for that to happen. I can't do it. There is no other way. And sometimes we get away with it for a little while. We manipulate the people in our lives or we coerce in some way and things change for a little bit. But do you notice that the problem comes back? Do you notice that the environment, the surroundings of the problems might come back, but it might look a little different? Like I tried to manipulate a relationship, and we ended up breaking up and I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad I'm rid of that relationship. And I get into another relationship and it's the same one, like all of the same problems come back, but it's got a new face. Or, I leave one job because I'm dissatisfied and I get into another job and lo and behold, I have the same problems. So that's why we feel like we just have to manipulate harder. We just have to, try harder. And that's not it. It actually is quite easy when you start working at energy and you start understanding fully that it works from the inside out. And so when I can start managing the inside, my thoughts, my beliefs, my emotional state, and I can manage from there, the outside changes pretty quick. So we are impacted by our limiting beliefs because it creates our environment. So if I try to go out into the world and be like, okay, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to get this job, or I'm going to start this business, or I'm going to move into this direction, but my beliefs don't align, we see a lot of the results are like procrastination, negative thinking. We waste a lot of time. We look busy, but we aren't actually doing anything. And it impacts us significantly. And it also starts to impact our self-esteem and our confidence. Oh, yeah, I guess I wasn't really that good. And I remember times when long time ago, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? I always wanted to just make more money, have more freedom, kind of make my own schedule, be my own boss. And I always tried all these kind of side jobs. And I would try them and I would go full force. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I would get a bunch of no's. And I'm like, okay, I'm just not good enough, right? I'm just not smart enough. And so then I would quit that. And then I would go and start something different. I'd just go back to work and stumble along the same environment and the same problems and the same people and the same kinds of bosses and the same kind of coworkers making the same amount of money. I'm like, okay, all right, now I'm really going to go do it. And I'm going to go do this other thing. I'm going to do a different entrepreneurial gig. I'm going to do this over here. And I would go full force. And I would meet people and I would network and I would get business cards. I mean, at one point, I think I counted 7 different business cards I went and made. And none of those jobs, none of those entrepreneurial events took place. I made zero money or very, very little. I was unsuccessful. And it kept reflecting back on me. But I wasn't paying attention because I didn't know. I just kept thinking, I'm just not good enough. I'll go get another job, a different job, and I'm working on my skills and I'm learning personal development. But this was not coming across my desk. Like I didn't know about limiting beliefs. But here's an exercise I want you to do. I want you to take a subject of the problem that you have, the subject of the problem that you are currently facing, and I want you to journal about the problem. Or you could say it out loud, and I want you to record yourself. And I want you to talk as openly and as freely, or write as openly and as free as you can, and really talk as if you're talking to somebody about the problem. And I want you to do this for if you're writing, maybe give yourself 10 minutes. If you're recording, give yourself 5 minutes. And then I want you to stop and I want you to go back and read it. And I want you to think of you're reading that as if it was somebody else. You're reading that as if somebody else was writing it. And I want you to ask yourself, is this person going to be successful? Now, I want you to write from a perspective that is current. Now that I'm teaching you some of these other ways, I want you to write from how you would currently talk about the issue. So if you're currently complaining, I want you to write down complaint. I want you to write it as if you're complaining about it, as if it's real, okay? And you might want to, if you want to do this exercise for real and really gain some powerful insight about you and about your beliefs, I want you to do that. But I want you to pause this and then come back to this when you've done that exercise. Now, hopefully you have paused it and you are coming back after you've recorded or after you've written down your beliefs about this problem that you have. Because now the next is to read it and go, okay, is this a positive perspective? Would this person get the job, get the guy, lose the weight, accomplish the thing? Would this person do that? Yes or no? Okay, there really isn't much gray area on it. They are either full force, positive about it, they are working with the energy of the universe to make this thing happen, or they're not. Okay, so this is going to be up to you. I want you to think about that. I want you to look at this writing as if it's somebody else's, and I want you to look at it and go, yeah, no, they're totally not going to achieve this thing. Okay, the next thing, and this is a strategy. These are strategies that I use all the time, and I record myself all the time, but I also journal. And so this is one of my favorite things to do because it so accelerates personal growth and professional growth to like you have found the gas pedal in your life. And the day after, you feel better. And then the day after that, you stumble across an opportunity that never would have shown up if you would have been in that negative state. Okay? So just like yesterday's podcast, when I talked about when you have a problem, you can't solve it from there. Step one must be raise your vibrational frequency. Raise your number. You're complaining about the problem. Stop yourself. Have somebody help stop you. If you're getting some momentum, stop yourself and go, okay, what's your number? On a scale from 1 to 10, where are you at? Oh man, I'm a 2. Okay, we can't problem solve from here. So do you want to go for a run? Do you want to, go work out? Do you want to play chess? Do you want to do something different? And then raise your numbers, and then we'll talk about the problem? Because that would be ideal. You can't solve it from that level. So step one is raising your vibration first. Now, this is what this is going to do. You have to get those thoughts and beliefs and those words that you use to describe your problem down on paper, because those are your beliefs. That's your energy. You are taking a look inside and going, oh, well, no wonder I'm not getting healthy. No wonder I'm not eating better. No wonder I don't have the relationship I want. No wonder. Look at these words. Those words cannot equal love, health, success, prosperity. It can't equal that. You can't. And I used to tell, when I was a personal trainer, I used to tell my clients all the time, you cannot hate yourself to a healthy body. You can't. The energy does not go together. That is like I'm planting sunflower seeds and expecting cucumbers to grow. It's just not going to work. You have to work with the energy, the ways and the laws of the universe. And this is one of the most powerful techniques I can teach. So one of these strategies is listening to how you talk about that problem that you've been dealing with for a long time. Okay. The next is feeling the emotional state. So as you're writing, or as I'm just going to say recording, and recording can either be verbally recording or writing it down. So you're recording what you're writing. You're recording your thoughts about the problem. So feel into your emotional state. How do you feel when you're talking about your problem in this way? Do you feel good? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel aligned? Do you feel amazing? Or do you feel pissed off or frustrated or down? Okay? That's a clear indicator, because your thoughts create your emotional state. So if I'm mad about something and I'm frustrated, or I'm like, okay, I'm going to go start this business, but I'm not smart enough, somewhere in your body, you're going to feel not aligned with your goal. So you have this opposite push and pull going in, where it's like these polar opposites pulling at each other, where my mind is like, but I want this thing. And my body is going, yeah, but you don't have the words. You're not in alignment with it. So, and therefore you've got, these polar opposites pulling at each other. Well, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going in the opposite direction of what it is you want to do. So therefore you just don't move, which is why our problems last sometimes forever. Another strategy is listening to your self-talk, listening to how you talk about the problem, feeling into the emotional state when you talk about the problem. Like, do you feel excited and alive with vigor and attention to your success, or not? The next is looking at your outcomes. Look at your outcomes. Are my relationships getting better? Is money coming in? Are there more prospects for me to date? Is my health getting better? Am I feeling better? And if your outcomes are going against what you're thinking, then you are not in alignment. So those are my top best strategies for figuring out if you're in alignment, because you're going to know. You know when you know. Okay? You know, because you're in alignment. Your head and your heart are in the same place, focus on the same thing, all looking in the same direction. And then you just get it. You get the thing, and you get it in the next 10 minutes. It's manifesting. And that's bringing our head and our heart into coherence, into harmony with each other. But when limiting beliefs are snuck in there, then you're pulling away from. Your head is going in one direction and your heart's going in the other, and you just don't move. So here's what you do. Once you've written it down, and you have the beliefs, you have the sentences, you have everything down, recorded, you can see it, you can hear it, it's the proof is right there in front of you, is now to go, okay, these beliefs are not going to get me what I want. I want sunflowers to grow. Well, I better plant sunflower seeds then, not cucumber seeds, right? Or vice versa. So I have to get into alignment. So now what beliefs do I need to have? What beliefs do I need to have in order to achieve my goal? And now you get to play kind of this sage almost. Say you want to lose weight. Okay, well, you can't hate your body to losing weight. You can't hate your body. You can't hate yourself to health. It's not going to work ever. Never. It's never going to work. So what beliefs do I have to have? You have to have encouraging beliefs. You have to encourage yourself. And we are not always our best friends. With ourselves, we tend to put ourselves last on the list. We tend to give up on ourselves easily. We tend to dog on ourselves. We tend to look outward for validation about ourselves instead of giving it to ourselves first. When I give myself a compliment, there is no ulterior motive. When I look outward and I want somebody to give me a compliment, could feel like that there's an ulterior motive. I asked for that compliment, or maybe they want something from me, or it doesn't sink as deep as when I give it to myself authentically. When I say, you know what, Jen, you are really good at this. Like, I really love my podcast. And I know there's, right now, my numbers are a little bit low, but I sure do love it. I'm in alignment with it. And I think once my podcast breaks open, that it's just gonna rail. And I just feel like I know that that's going to happen. One day, I'm at 372 or 73 episodes, and I'm like, well, maybe I need to get to 1,000. And I'm just going to keep going because I know that I'm changing somebody's life out there. And it moves me, and it creates this excitement in me that one day it's going to break free, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to look at my numbers, and there's going to be 1,000 downloads of a podcast I do because I just feel it. I'm in alignment with my podcast. And so I have to be encouraging, and I have to continue to do it because I love it so much. And because I know that I get a little bit of feedback out there, but I know that it's helping one person at a time level their life up, that I am reaching somebody through this microphone, through these headphones, through my notebook, and I'm reaching somebody's life. And that's worth it to me. Okay? So I have to encourage myself. When I encourage myself, it's not an act of selfishness. It's an act of self-love because I want to be my own best friend. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with me. I might as well get along. And so that's what I do. It also takes courage to look at yourself and go, you know what? This is who you are. This is the things you're capable of. Here's your natural gifts and talents. Here's the skills that you've acquired in your life so far. You can do it. And I believe in you. It takes courage. I know a lot of people that can't do that. I know a lot of people that can't look themselves in the mirror and go, I love you. I love you right where you are, and I'm going to be right here next to you, and I'm going to take that courage to look at and to do the work. Because once you do these little bits of work that take a couple of minutes, it's insight to you, which you're getting connected to the deeper spiritual version of yourself who can help you, who has that higher perspective. But if you keep hiding her away, if you keep pushing her away as if she's the enemy, it's going to be a long, long life for you, a long, hard life. And I don't want that for you. So the things that I do that really help to propel my life forward is that insight. It's going inward and doing those little bits of work. Some of these things that I suggest that resonate with you that say, you know what, I am going to look at the words I use, because what if there's success on the other side? What if this year I could reach that goal? What if this year it's going to be it for me? And it takes courage to do that. It takes courage to look inside. It takes courage to look at your words. It takes courage to take the lid off your barrel and stand up and go, oh my gosh, there's a world out here. And I can live in it because I can find harmony within myself. The other is to be optimistic. So as you're looking at those beliefs, those limit you. Words like I can't, or I always, or I never, those are limiting words. And we want to allow the possibilities and the miracles of the universe to come forward. If we spend so much time in the words of I can't do it or I'm not smart enough, you're never going to experience the miracle of being smart enough because you keep saying I can't or I'm not. And so if you understand fully the words and the impact that they make on your life, you will fully embrace this type of work. You will fully embrace going inward and going, you know what? You're absolutely right. I have to look at how I talk about and how I think about my life and my goals and my desires and be optimistic. And it's going to start changing. I promise you. I promise. Because you're going to go, yeah, but Jen, I have $1.74 in my bank account. How in the hell am I supposed to think about riches and think about prosperity? And it's like, you have to, because your $1.74 isn't going to grow unless you give it the environment that it needs. And this is you giving it the environment, spending that time going inward, looking at how you talk about things, how you think about things. And it takes some courage to do that because it might feel weird. It might feel really weird for you to do it, but I'm telling you, it's so worth it because it changes the next day. I've had clients where we talked about this, and I'm not kidding. She goes out to the mailbox and gets a check in the mail from, an old insurance thing that maybe got mailed around the country and, it's got $500 in her pocket now. Or she's been applying for jobs for 9 months and she just got a phone call. As soon as we hung up, she just gets a phone call that says, we're going to hire you. The one gal that we hired, it's not going to work out. So you're next on our list. So the job's yours if you want it. I'm not kidding. It happens, and it happens all the time. And I know, and I do it. I experience it in my own life, and my clients experience it too. The last one is to be willing to release the block. So if you are staring at yourself in the mirror, you're 100 pounds overweight, you've been overweight your whole entire life, you've never been thin and fit, and that's your goal. That's the thing that you've been working on for years. I want you to understand that your thinking is what's preventing the health. You have it. You can do it. You can do it. You can overcome any ailment. You can overcome any physical limitation. I've seen it. I've read it. I've heard it. I've experienced it. I know it's true. The body can heal itself. The body can get into optimal health. You just have to be in alignment with it. That means you have to get your thoughts on board with what it is that you want. But you have to be willing to release and let go of those beliefs that no longer serve you. If those beliefs are hindering you, then you got to get rid of them. You got to let it go. You want the boat to sail, you must cut the anchor. You must. You want that boat to get going and get off this, the sand dune that you're stuck on, and you've been when you're shipwrecked and you want to get going, you got to bring up the anchor. Your limiting beliefs are the anchor. Now, if this is something that you want a little bit more and you want to go in a little bit of depth, please send me an email and say, hey, you know what, Jen, I want to have a conversation with you because I am sick of being stuck. Send me an email, themeditationroomtc@gmail.com. Say, hey, Jen, I want to have a conversation, and let's set up a way that I can support you. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment as to how this has inspired you. If you're interested in learning about our Lady Leaders Retreat and to join a community of women who connect, heal, and create a life that is full of joy, inspiration, and empowerment, then send me an email at themeditationroomtc@gmail.com. Subject line, let's talk. And I will set up a time for us to have a conversation. And in the meantime, keep going, growing, and transforming, and keep looking for those nuggets of inspiration.